It'll take a minute.
All right, and we are live.
Good afternoon, peoples. My name is Taylor. To my left, I have.
Holla motherfucking dang.
Woo!
And this is
HT and me. All right. So, um, first of all, hello. How's your day going?
honestly Taylor, my day has been going really good.
It's been
I
good.
did my pitch earlier for a program I'm trying to do this summer. It went really good.
Mm,
And then I had my classes. I was feeling real studious today, paid attention in all my classes. I was locked in, loaded.
mm. That's
So,
what's up.
and then I had a nice little lunch, picked you up, and here we are. And this is my
Yeah,
favorite day of the week because who don't love a good yap session?
yeah. Yapper,
I
yapper.
love a good Thursday.
Good Thursday.
How's your
So,
day?
honestly, it's been pretty good. After we worked out this morning, y'all, at like what 5:30.
Yep.
Came home, ate me a great. It was some salami, some lettuce, uh, some more lettuce,
Mm.
and some sriracha, some black pepper. It was some it was fire. It
No.
was fire. It was fire. It was fire. Took the shower, went straight to sleep.
Yep.
Straight to sleep.
That
Woke
nap
up.
was needed.
Yep. Woke up, dyed my hair again, and yeah, here we are.
Yeah, that's funny. Taylor and I both have a new look this fine Thursday. He dyed his hair and I cut my shit off.
And I was like, man, as soon as Holly did something, I'm like, nah, let me just go ahead and do this real quick. Gonna do this real quick. But I had to get my birthday look kinda in the works too. So I'm
Yep.
like, all right, it's time. It's time to do something new.
New
So
age, new era. That's how I'm feeling too. Like, new
yeah.
age, need a new look to match the new era.
I feel like honestly every spring or every like summer I have to like come kind of different.
Mm.
So
It's something about spring and summer. It's like a birthing of,
I literally
yeah.
call spring the season of rebirth. I mean,
Yeah, you did say that the other day.
it's always like something new is happening and there's new things coming and the weather's new and it's everything is
The
different.
energy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all vibrant, all amazing.
But just to get into the topic for today, we're going to be talking about our fitness journey. And what was that like when you started? How hard was it? Um, or what was the hardest thing you were trying to tackle, like getting into fitness?
So I'm a year consistent with my fitness journey, which is
Sir.
really nice. One of the biggest challenges I think I faced when starting was the consistency.
Mm,
Um, I at the time was trying to be like, I was trying to use motivation as my drive to be consistent. But that
interesting.
didn't work because some days you're not feeling motivated. Some days you're feeling sluggish. You don't want to do anything, but those days matter the most.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I started installing in myself is telling myself the days I don't want to go, just go and do the laziest workout ever. And
Mm,
that would include me literally just walking on the treadmill. Sometimes I'd go to the gym, literally walk on the treadmill for an hour, just
yeah.
walking, scrolling on my phone, like something that I enjoy doing, can do unconsciously.
Mm,
And but I'm still putting in some type of work.
yeah.
And I read a book, a really good book actually. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. It's called Atomic Habits. And it basically just says how like building habits, you can't rely on motivation because that motivation is not always going to be there. And those days when you don't show up, like you could not show up once, that's okay. But if you don't show up 2, 3 times, you're playing against the habit you're trying to
Mm,
build. So to tackle the inconsistency and trying to be consistent, I would just show up. And I feel like that's a good advice for a lot of people starting their fitness journey because when you're starting, you feel like you have to go hard all the time. Like
yeah.
you need to be putting in that work to see the results. But it's like before you can have the stamina to be going as hard as you want to, you have to want to be in that space.
That's true. Yeah, because honestly, it's like, and again, you kind of touched on much of the motivation, but it's like, even for me, my hardest days are never when
Want to
um,
be at the gym.
yeah, it's always like the day you like sleep in, or the day
Hmm.
you like didn't get any sleep, and you're like tired all day, and let's say you like wake up and you get on TikTok and then you see some fitness influencers going to the gym and you're like, and then you get hit with the, oh, you gotta do it on the days you don't want to do it. You gotta yada yada yada. And I'm just like, bruh, like
Literally.
I just don't have it today. And then I think that has been really the most important part of the journey for me is like, what are your off days like, and
Mhm.
how do you take care of yourself outside of fitness or outside of the gym? And those days I think matter more
Yeah.
than to me than actually being in the gym, because it's like not only do you have to feed your body, drink water, obviously like you got to be somewhat nutritious, but it's like um even the way that you treat your body on those off days, and the way that you treat rest, and the way that you think about sleep, those matter on those days. So if you're just thinking about going to the gym and you got a little bit of sleep, oh, you had a good workout, and then you eat super healthy, but then your off day, it's like a complete 360.
Right, like, you're
And
taking cheat days and taking it to the extreme, like, "Oh, I've
yeah,
been working hard for 4 days. I deserve to go crazy on my off days." Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's also a little bit of like, I think when you're working out, it's easier to think about like following. I feel like we built a culture of like, okay, like when you do this thing, you have to do this thing after this. So like people will work out and then they'll see people do protein shakes and smoothies after, and then they'll eat good after, or they'll drink water while they're working out after. And we've created a culture of that's what you're supposed to do after you work out. But people don't talk about the days in which you aren't working out. Like, what do those
Right.
days look like for the people who are like going to the gym every day or going to the gym consistently? And it's like people are only conditioned to do that thing that's right after the gym. But
But it
after
should be
that,
a lifestyle, like
yeah,
something you're consistent with. And trainers, like especially for like professional athletes, they say that your recovery days are the most important days. And like you said, taking that time to replenish your body after those hard workouts, that's the most important. And
hmm,
yes, I agree. A lot of people do have the mindset that um given the environment you're in, like if you're at the gym, that's the only time you do healthy physical stuff. That's when you afterwards you drink your protein shake, da 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 da. But it's like even on your off day, you could still drink your protein shake to get in as much water as you need,
yeah,
da
yeah,
da da da. But touching on that plays into our subtopic of working out and like fitness journeys, which is fitness culture in today's society, which is toxic as hell.
oh
Like
yeah,
it's really so bad. And I feel like when it came to my fitness journey, I started with being very influenced by social media,
mm,
like following the latest, like a lot of people do like the what 3-3-30 or like those fitness trends where it's like they're giving you all this advice so you can lose this amount of weight in this amount of days.
yeah,
All of that stuff can become so blinding to what your actual goals are you want for yourself. And I feel like when people enter their fitness journeys, they should really take time to think what results they want, why they're doing this, and then based off that, you create your own routine, because when you follow a lot of those trends, they're only like trends come in and out. And when something's not popular anymore and it doesn't serve anybody, people stop doing them. So it's like, boom, once that trend is gone, are you going to stop that 3-3-30 or whatever it is that you were doing, or are you going to keep going? So that's why it's
mhm.
good to build your own routine that you can stick to no matter what's popular or not.
And building your own routine is also great in that like it allows you to learn about your body too. And
Yes.
so like a lot of people try to get into the fitness workout zone, but they don't understand their body. And
Heavy
so
on that.
it's
Like, and
so
people,
easy.
we have so many different body types. Like, no one human body is the same as next. People don't even take their metabolism into consideration, how their body's breaking down those nutrients, utilizing it for energy. So, yes, I agree with that heavily.
Yeah. And especially it's really problematic with like I feel like every other couple months it's like I swear it's like a new fasting trend, or it's like a new weird supplement diet trend that kind of takes place, and people will be so super reluctant to follow it. And it's like you don't even monitor like if your body can retain water, or
Exactly.
like your blood sugar, or like I don't know, like I don't know,
Like your
just
carbohydrates intake, all of that plays a bigger factor into whether or not that you're burning that fat,
yeah,
losing those calories, or whatever it is.
because you can get up and do all these trends, and it's like you can actually mess your body up,
Hmm.
especially with like a lot of the fasting trends, um, which I feel like at this point I'm not really the biggest fan of, because I
What, fasting?
I guess the obsession of the trend in itself, not the fast in itself, but
But the trend with intermittent fasting and all
yeah,
that, yeah,
and
I
how it's
agree too.
pushed.
Oh, and I would like to state in this podcast that neither Taylor or myself are nutritionists or dietitians. So all the information we were speaking of is based off personal knowledge and personal experiences. You do your own research based off of what you need to intake to reach your goals and what it means to know what your body does. Like you go figure that out.
I think, you know what, honestly, I can see, like, I feel like the biggest tip for people who are getting started is to diversify where you're getting your
Knowledge,
knowledge
information.
from. And
And I'm sorry to keep interrupting you.
but
You just keep spitting, and I just got to add to it. For real, when people go into their fitness journeys, they don't even do any research. They don't even educate themselves on what they're trying to accomplish. They just jump into it. And I will say I was one of those individuals, but I had a fair understanding of how to lose weight and what it means for my body to break down fats, utilize the glucose that I'm producing or that I'm intaking,
hmm,
like all of those factors, like I had a little bit of a background.
right, right.
But yes, a lot of people don't diversify
Hmm.
their understanding of physical fitness.
Yeah, like it's crazy because um even when I really got serious into working out, people like hate on those kind of like starter YouTube tutorial things, but like that was my bread and butter. Like
Hmm.
especially when I was like super serious, because it was like there were so many different things that you need to learn in terms of like um maybe like different ways of stretching, different, different exercises for different muscle groups,
Hmm.
um, what different vitamins and minerals do for you, like, oh, which fruits are the most nutritious, the superfoods, and the fruits you should eat for vitamin C, vitamin, like there's all that,
Yeah.
like, but I think you have to be so open minded in terms of where you are trying
Sorry.
to get your information from, because it's like if you just only stick to like social media or like or Instagram, I feel like those you have to have a certain kind of algorithm in order to find the good stuff. Like and I
But
think
algorithms are always going to limit
yeah,
the content that you're being exposed to.
yeah, that's true. And I realize like a lot of people have very pardon my English, but very shitty algorithms. So it's like you will get into it's very easy to get into a bad algorithm of like the aesthetically pleasing workout stuff. Like there's not it's hard to find like people who are knee deep in the journey but then don't look anything like you and their body is similar to yours.
Yeah.
And those people exist, but it's like it's hard to find those kind of people. But honestly, that's why you got to go to YouTube, and you got to go on Twitter and like look up these different diets, these different foods, these different ways of training. But I feel like at this point, the way I train now is I've been able to take my years of like using different sports,
Hmm.
and I feel like that has been my saving grace. Like I feel like I was blessed to be able to
Be
not just love,
athletic. Yeah.
yeah, be athletic and love athletics, like, and being able to take all the different ways in which different sports train, stretch, eats, run, cardio, like everything plays apart in different ways.
Yeah.
And so the way I kind of teach people is just like everything is important. Like there isn't anything that is more important than the other thing because it's all equally as important. And it's like, but I have the luxury of being able to draw from like maybe some track stretches I did or
Hmm.
some soccer stretches I did or some football stretches. And I use that to kind of take my workouts to another level.
Yeah.
Um, but I also realize like when you're just getting to the workout space, you're introduced to like the bare minimum of the bare minimum of workouts. Like, and it's always
Yeah.
like, right. I think right now a big thing right now is like the RDLs, the Romanian deadlifts for the glutes, and a lot of people are doing like hip thrusts and
Hip thrust.
lunges
Yeah.
and
And it's all everyone's doing the same workouts. Yes.
yeah,
But
yeah.
before we go too deep into the next topic, I want to touch back on you stating like YouTube and stuff being your bread and butter. I want to emphasize on that. When I started my fitness journey, and mind you, I used to be an athlete too. So, like, granted, I had some background knowledge on what type of exercise I need to do for the different muscles I want to hit. But when it came to form and like just even being exposed to different, more exercises, YouTube. I'm talking about I would YouTube any muscle that I like, my delts, lats, whatever I want to hit that day. I'm
Literally.
YouTubing all different types of exercises, seeing which one I want to do for the day, making sure I'm switching it up, but also building a consistent routine, like finding my set of exercises that really work well for me, aren't too hard but aren't too easy, allowing me to push myself and that I can be consistent with. You have to find workouts that work for you. And YouTube, yeah, Twitter and all those other platforms, but I swear YouTube, you'll find videos from 12, 10 years ago that are
Oh
still
my
relevant.
gosh.
Like those people, they set out
Yeah.
the map, like they made a great layout that is still very relevant to fitness, and that's the type of stuff you can really rely on. So when you're starting your fitness journey, don't be embarrassed to go to the gym and not know what you're doing. Like that's what our phones are for. Pull out your phone. If you see a machine you don't know how to use, search up the name of the machine. You'll find some tutorial videos, get to working. And I feel like that's one thing that scares a lot of people about the gym, is that there's so many machines and there's so many different types of exercises, there's so many different methods that they don't know where to start. And it's like,
Yeah.
use your resources. Don't be afraid to Google, don't be afraid to ask, talk to people at the gym. I know the gym is very intimidating, especially when everyone's got their headphones in, locked and loaded, but bruh, the amount of people I found that will help you with your form, help you with this, and it takes getting out of your comfort zone for sure. But the gym is actually one of the most sociable places, but people don't even know that. So it'd be 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock. We be seeing people. Everybody's friendly, and it's like once
Full-blown
you full blown
conversations.
convos, strangers that you didn't even know 3 weeks ago. Now you guys are buddies because you guys see each other every morning at 5:30.
And you know what? To make this a more of a acceptable, safe space, I'm gonna be honest and say like there's also a lot of people who are, supposedly trying to be super deep into the fitness workout world that low key be kind of faking the funk a little bit. Because even in the gym, I and again like I've been in many different like um I would say workout spaces. I feel like that's the best way to put it.
Mhm.
And like I've been in spaces where it's like you see people get up in there and I'm not gonna call myself a master of technique, but I'm really good. Like technique is where I base a lot of my workout in.
Mhm.
And I think especially getting into working out, a lot of people don't really it's not really touched on too much for technique. It's just like do these workouts, see these results. But
No, you
technique
got to
is like
have
the
that form and technique there. You have to make sure your positioning
mhm.
is in the right spot.
And kind of what I'm getting at is like there are people who are in the gym who are literally getting swole off of like half-ass workouts and not stretching. There are people who are consistently going and not stretching.
I was gonna say
And
I cannot reiterate how important it is to
Mhm.
stretch.
So like when I
Like, oh my God.
like so when we tell y'all like the journey is always gonna be hard, but I'm telling y'all there's a lot of fakeness in it too, as much as there is validity. Like people will get up in there looking like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and they can't touch their back or they can't touch the ground. And it's like then you can ask yourself like, is that where I want to be? Like, I don't know if that is what I want to be, And so and it's okay to shift too. Like you can have wanted to be a super heavy weightlifter and then want to be like, you know what, like I don't really like that and
Hmm.
stuff anymore. I want to go. Maybe I want to do more yoga. Maybe I want to do Pilates or
Hmm.
any of these other classes or any of these other ways of fitness. Because maybe I'd rather want my body to be more flexible instead of like super nimble. And you can do both. I want to preface that you can do both. It's very
You can do
possible.
everything literally.
Yeah.
Like, and when it comes to um working out, there's so many different forms, classes where it's like you don't have to limit yourself to just weightlifting. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to just limit yourself to strength conditioning. Like,
Mm.
you can do a lot of cardio, you can do a lot of yoga, you can do a lot of what is it called? Biking.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
those activities and group fitness classes that they offer at gyms do a lot of the same things.
So I gotta actually have a great question
Variety.
for you. What is one um what is one like workout trend or fad that you don't like?
Hmm. I honestly don't discriminate when it comes to the workout trends.
Hmm.
I feel like I feel like people who like promote those trends is because it worked for them, and they start promoting that. Oh, I did this in this amount of time. You could have the
Mm.
same results,
Okay.
and then that's just like I said, not everybody is the same. So
Yeah.
like there is truth to some of the trends being like efficient, like working. If I'm not efficient, but effective.
Right.
But again, not one shoe fits all, not one size fits all. So I mean, but I don't really like build opinions on the workout trends. I just be like, interesting.
Hmm.
Like that really is interesting. But do you?
I think um I ain't gonna lie. I think I had a couple. The one that I don't like, which I've actually tried, and is the dry scooping stuff that people do, like the
But you
pre
think
workout.
that's a trend?
Yes, I think
Uh
it's not only is a trend, but it's a pretty bad trend now at this point because there's a lot of people who do it, um, and will push that like kind of thing, and a lot of times it's people who are like they look good,
mhm.
they look good in the gym, they're super fit, and they've been working out quite a bit or they're on a journey, and then they see people doing it, and then it's like, oh, like let's like do this thing. And here's the thing: is that it works, but it's like just not good for the body. It's bad for your kidneys. It's bad for your liver. You can literally choke on it,
I say yeah,
and
pre-workout within itself is
is
like
is
not the
already,
best.
and that's a whole nother conversation because I don't know if I have the knowledge to be able to like
Right. Dig
debunk
deep
the
into
yeah
what's in the
the pre
pre-workout.
workout and
But
stuff.
no, I know it's some crazy shit in there because I see the reason why I don't form opinions about workout trends is because like I said, I used to be a beginner in this journey and I did a lot of those trends. So who
Mhm.
am I now to be like, nah, I don't like that. Da, 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 da.
Hmm.
But like I'm open minded to it. Like I said, everyone has their own preferences. But the dry scooping and pre workouts, that shit should be illegal. I I used to get like so itchy, like
Oh
that
yeah,
pre workout
yeah.
itch, and everyone who listens to this is gonna know exactly what I'm
Mm.
talking about. I need to look further into what causes that type of reaction from pre workout and why is it normalized and why do people just itch like crackheads, like like I don't want to say like crackheads, but like crackheads, and be like, oh, that's just because of pre workout.
And it's like
But
this
but
isn't
why?
this
This is not
isn't a good.
normal. Not normal. But yeah, so yeah, that's why I will say I used to be on that bandwagon of pre workout, but I stopped that immediately when I realized that, hmm, I can have the same amount of energy.
Mm.
And I think I ended up substituting it for a Celsius.
You know what's funny though? I was trying it, and at that point in life, like I ain't gonna lie, like I was just tired a lot. So for me, it wasn't on some like, man, like I really like I
Yeah,
truly
I
would be
did it because I
so
was tired.
tired. Like I'm like,
I felt
dude.
like I needed that energy.
Yeah. But then like after trying it, I think I only tried it for like a couple weeks. And there were days when my headache would be so bad. Like I haven't had headaches that bad because of pre-workout in years.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, this is something that I should probably stay away from. And I did it like here's the thing is that it does work again, but the after effect of what my body was feeling was just not worth it. Like the fidgeting still, not being able to go to sleep because for I feel like I could feel it longer throughout the day. And granted, that's good, but it was also like it would make me super anxious because I was
Mm.
so, I had so much energy in me. But okay, so outside of the pre workout, I think I also don't like. Dang, I just had it. It's also a food too.
Uh,
Hmm.
it's like a food that's supposed to promote muscle growth or like what?
Hmm. Well, okay, so like, dang, actually, I cannot remember what it is. It's like
Pro?
it's a supplement, I think.
Oh.
Uh, oh man, it's gonna have to come back to me. It's gonna have to come back to me. But no, like
What? Like those that green scoop? Or what is it?
uh,
No, that's another thing. But before we wrap this up, I'd like to bring us into our next subcategory, which is um whether fitness and overall being able to um what's the word I'm looking for? Being able to like pursue your fitness journey, is that a luxury? Is fitness and health a luxury in our modern day society?
I would say the easy answer. I would say yes. Now, I think we have a lot of individual power too to be able to like the power exists for us to be able to go to YouTube, and then if we have a living room, then we can like, oh, let's look up a YouTube video, and if you're blessed enough to have someone give you some knowledge, like, hey, search up this video for a 15-minute workout, I think you'll love this.
Mm.
Then I think
But
it,
are you restricting fitness and health to just the working out aspect? Because what about nutrition and what about being able to get your total body fat and like see what you need to increase as far as nutrients and that type of stuff? So looking at it as a bigger picture as fitness and health going hand in hand with nutrition and the actual physical activity, would you
yeah,
still say it's subjective to like, you're saying like we all have access to the internet so like you could look out a quick workout, but like
yeah, I still think it's a luxury because people equate like healthy, quote unquote, like fit bodies as being physically fit. And so like I feel like a lot of African Americans don't really have the luxury of having good nutrition or
yeah,
accessible nutrition. And a lot of us have had to like get it out of the mud, quote unquote, in terms of fitness.
yeah,
Right. But then it's like we'd have to go home and it's like some of us would have to eat, I don't know, like bologna sandwiches or like McDonald's. And we would just have to continue that consistent kind of nutrition, if you want to call it that, because we didn't really have access to a whole lot of it. Or if we did, it was made, but there wasn't, if you come from a family of two, three, four kids or brothers and sisters, then that has to get dispersed between you guys. So it's like
right,
you can't really always eat all the time healthily. And if you are lucky to be able to participate in a sport or something, you're in the sport, but you're not able to um, be as like your body isn't able to embrace that aspect of physical fitness in its entirety because you're not close to a grocery store,
Mhm.
and your mom still has to, um, separate how much she has to use for groceries versus bills
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, and obviously, like, there's lots of people who are physically fit, but there's a lot of people who had your body is going to become stronger and fit regardless of the workouts you do and the stuff you eat. But some of that has been because of trauma and lack of resources too. Like it just so happens that their bodies have had to become accustomed to, okay, like I don't know if you've heard about like, all those bodybuilders who or super famous people who done like 100 push-ups a night, 100 sit-ups a night, and but a lot of those stories are like trauma stories. Like a lot of those stories are like these guys didn't really have a whole lot to eat, or they were just working out because it was like their only means of dealing with societal things. So it's like people can
Mm.
still become physically fit, but it's like the way in which they've had to embrace nutrition is completely different compared to if you went to a private school and you guys are getting breakfast and lunch and you're on a sports team and you guys
Yeah.
get um, meals that are funded through your booster club or meals that are um, donated by like somebody's parents and stuff like that. Like they get the luxury of being able to have like a protein shake.
Mhm.
I didn't really get a protein shake till I was like what, maybe like sophomore in high school. And even then I thought $20 for a protein like container was super expensive.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was like, whoa, like I don't know if I'm gonna get another one because and so I would actually not take it that much because it was just like, oh, like I would take one like every now and then or every other
Right,
day.
right.
But
You're not consistent because you want to preserve it.
yeah, because it was like, oh, like I know this is good for me, but I don't have all of the resources to be able to get another one.
Mhm.
So
But
yeah, to answer your question, I would say yes. I think actually kind of what was the question?
oh my
I
gosh,
forgot how you
Taylor.
worded it.
Here, I want to put my
Yeah, go ahead.
opinion on it. I basically asked whether fitness and being healthy is a luxury. And so touching off of what you said, I also believe that it's a luxury. One thing I want to speak about is how one of my friends and I were discussing yesterday that a lot of minorities and, like you said, people in the black community are limited to access when it comes to good, healthy foods. And that plays into like their neighborhoods not having grocery stores in the proximity or like that area. And beyond that, when it comes to like time and stuff, a lot of minorities are limited to time because it's like you're either working your butt off, working 10 to 12-hour days, and like minorities are known to work 4 more hours than the average Caucasian. So when it comes to that, it's like you're working 10 to 12-hour shifts. Once you get off work, you're tired, you're exhausted. If you have children, you have to feed your children, then you're worried about finances, all these stressful factors coming into your life. And it's like, at what point do you have to even think about going to the gym? At what point do you even have to think about cooking a healthy meal when you're going to give your kids the quickest meal so that you can go to bed and wake up and do it all over again? So what I'm trying to say is that health is definitely a luxury in the sense of like your societal standing, like what's it called, oops, sorry, like your social class and your standing. So it's like high upper class families have the finances, have the resources to drop their kids off daycare, go to your yoga class for 2 hours, pay for all these extra services, sometimes even pay for meal prep services, to ensure that if they're too lazy or don't have the time, they're still getting in that good meal and, staying healthy. So that's why I think a lot of members in our community suffer when it comes to like obesity or we're just like, not being healthy. And like, you don't have to be obese to not be healthy, because not being healthy plays into the inflammation you experience, your tiredness, your cortisol levels, all of that, all those biological factors. When you're not putting the right nutrients in your body, when you're not physically being active and the only physical activity you're experiencing is hard labor,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
at what point in your life do you ever have the time to sit and like focus on your overall well-being and be healthy? So I think it's a huge luxury that a lot of people actually don't even think about, like especially the majority of the group who don't experience those hardships. Like they never consider, oh, that person is tired or they're sluggish or they look the way they do, not trying to like judge anyone's
Hmm.
look, but like they look like that because they don't have the time, resources, or means to be able to pour into themselves.
And people will get on those kind of people about like, oh, like you guys don't want to work hard, but it's like they're always working.
They're always working. Like
So then
literally,
it's
what are you
like
talking about?
you're like our society is always gonna demean people for working, and then it's like they're gonna demean people for being tired. But then it's like, what resources are you giving us to be able to overcome this hurdle?
Exactly. And there's
Like,
not any, it's like
yeah,
you got to figure it out for yourself. You either got to become financially well off so that you can use the rest of your time to pour into yourself, or you just literally never escape that realm.
yeah, and a lot of people end up having to go the get it out of the mud route in fitness because there's no other means of no one giving them that access or resources. So it's like you could be that person working 12-hour shifts, and then people will tell you like, "Oh, you got to make time," and it's like, okay, you tell people that enough, and they're gonna eventually start blaming themselves, and they're gonna be like, "All right, let me go on YouTube and maybe think about it." So now people are starting to like not only overwork themselves, but continue to overwork their bodies by trying to work out and be physically fit. And they know they don't have the energy or time, but they're getting so demeaned from people saying that it's just that's going to continue to make them feel bad
Hmm.
about it. So
And yes, and touching on that, people have to understand too that overworking your body takes away from all the effort that you put in towards your fitness journey. Like it comes a
yes,
point where
yeah.
your body can no longer do what it needs to do because it's constrained and it's tired, you know. So at some point you're not getting any positive gains from all the overworking you're doing. So yeah, I believe that definitely give yourself grace when it comes to being tired and not feeling like doing something, but feeling the pressure of society and your own internal like standards, like wanting to be a better you and be physically fit, look a certain way. But you just have to remember that there comes a point where you have to relax. Like us as humans,
Hmm.
we're just like, we're supposed to actually be relaxing,
Yeah.
but instead we're fucking not relaxing at all.
And I think the last thing I'll leave with is like, man, you can, obviously like with all the societal stuff against us and systemic stuff, there it's so hard to say like there is time without being disingenuous about it.
I know, and
And
that's
it's
the
like,
tricky part because I mean, we all have the same amount of time, but you make time for what you want. But then
mhm,
that's also not fair to a lot of people who don't get to do that.
exactly. All that to say, like, you can go to a gym for 30 minutes. It's very possible. You can go there for 30 minutes, you can go there for 45 minutes, you can go there for an hour. You don't need to be there for 3 hours trying to do 12 different workouts.
Please don't let people discourage you with the amount of time that they set expectations for how long you're supposed to work out.
Because I'm telling you, bro, like
And you don't
my
have to break 30 sweats either.
no, like my best workouts or the workouts that I get the most from or the workouts that I get like right before I got to go to work. And those workouts don't be that long.
And they be in, because it's intentional, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You're
so-
like, okay, I know I'm about to work this shift, so I shouldn't work out too long, but I should do enough to know I'm going to get a sweat. Then you go into work and you feel good. And it's like,
exactly.
whoa, it was only 45 minutes.
Exactly.
It's
And
like
remember that walking is working out too.
everything can work. So, but
Yes,
thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys got some good gems, and there's always gonna be more gems dropping because we're jewelers around here.
we are.
Jewelers.
And yeah, like Taylor said. And also remember to just take care of yourself. Do the best that you can to make sure that you live a long, fulfilling life because the life that you lead today, everything that you put into your body today is only going to benefit your future self.
Mm,
So remember that this is not short term, it's long term. It's a long term investment and do your best.
an apple a day, and you know what they say.
Keeps the doctor away.
No way. All right.
And make sure you go to your doctor. Y'all need to go get y'all physicals.
Yeah, please. We're literally dying.
Quite literally. Actually, I seen a statistic today that said in 2026 or something, because right now the cancer rate's at 37%
Mm,
of the, I don't know if it's related to the US population or the world. I think it's the US population is prone to get cancer, and that's going to increase to above 40% in the
that's
upcoming
crazy.
years. So we are dying, literally. But you know what? That's a conversation for
Yeah.
another podcast. Thank you guys for joining us.
Peace.
Deuces.